Alright guys, Madfoot Sim Racing, like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. And what we're doing here is addressing a question of how we got our toon to be not so yellow. And what we're going to do is take you through a quick run-up of how we got that to be. And what we're doing is we're going through and we're just creating a guy and making it so we'll go through and turn off our phone here. That is our notifications here. But we've got it so that we've got all of our stuff chosen just like we chose it on our character here. And we're starting off with the body. The body doesn't really matter, but there's a couple things that will go back and forth with the body and the costume. We've already chosen a lot of other stuff just like we chose on our character, but we're just doing this. These are the only two things that we really need to choose. So body, it doesn't really matter. You can choose this height wise or whatever. Physique, you guys go through and change that and mess with that. The character in question is a regular size, and I like to make them a little bit more slender shoulders, maybe puff the chest out a little bit. The waist is something that we'll play with a little bit. I like to keep it about like 2/3 or whatever, so it doesn't mess with the belt, but we'll show you how that, we'll make it a little bit bigger here so we can show you what we're talking about here. The hips, I keep them about right there. The legs, I like to make the legs a little bit longer. And then I, for this particular character, I kept them a little bit over 6 feet, but it's just all proportionate on how you want to do it, and excuse me. And then we'll go right into the costume, because that's the main thing of what this video is about. How do we make him not so yellow? And we'll get right on here. And this is the head and face setup that I did ahead of time here of what this character really did look like. And so, and I turned off the costume colors are unlinked, so that's something that I do so that not everything looks the same, but it starts off with the generalized as they are linked. And I have his skin color generally like this for this character or toon. For all this, for his chest, I had chosen it like this, and I was like, oh wow, well, hey, that looks pretty cool. Then you can see all his muscles and stuff like that, and then I was like, oh well, let's make it this, because the character in question I named after the Egyptian god Ra, which was the god of the sun. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I want yellow, But then I was kind of torn. I was like, oh well, we'll just do like this gold color, and then gloss. And I was like, okay, yeah, well, whatever, And then gloves. I went through and I was like, well, let's see here. I believe I chose the defense gloves. Well, defense, yeah, there we go. And I was like, oh, well, okay, well, white, and then something that I had, we'll get into the belt later, but what I had found through many sleepless nights is that when there's something that you can do is you, when you choose this, I wanted to make it so it wasn't shiny, so I chose the matte. But then in the secondary thing here, you choose blend, and then it chooses this top color, yellow, here, and then, and since I was going to try and make it like a fire kind of thing, I went from there to orange, maybe like a little bit brighter orange or something like that, you know. And then from on his gloves, I did the blend, and then from the white to this golden yellow, so it goes white to yellow, and so everything kind of blends together, and just let the computer do the work. Now it doesn't let me do that on there, so for his belt I just went through and chose the belt that I wanted, which I'll have to go through and just find it because I don't remember the exact name of it. That was the one right there, and I used this orange, which was the third one over, and then I used a rather bright red, so you can't even tell like the orange is there, so but that's okay. And then it makes it not so yellow. And then that was it for the upper body. And then the lower body, I did tight, yep, and then bare, and then did the matte. And then the blend, and then I just did the opposite, which was the same yellow, I think. The gold. Which one did I do? Gold. Oh wait. The orange to the gold. And then, excuse me, on his feet, I did the defense again with the blend, and then where the black is, I did the yellow to the white, and then it's that easy. The one thing that I did change, and then we just get all this tied up, is that on his face, I zoom in on the face whenever I work on the face just so I can see what I'm doing. I did put these things here, you know, I changed this up and whatever, but I did go down and give him the neck cover, and I made the neck cover the same color, and it kind of blends in a little bit, but when you're zoomed out and running around, you can't really tell. And then just for aesthetic purposes, I went through and I looked at a couple different shoulder pads or whatever. I did give him this one. And I did make, I don't know what colors I chose for my character, specifically. You know, I mean, that's here nor there. That's just, whatever, you know. I may have done it a little differently or something like that or whatever. But, you know, that's just the one thing, like I was telling you, is like with the belt, and I'll zoom in on that, I mean, a little bit, is if you see like right here, how it's kind of overlapping a little bit, if you slim down the waist a little bit and then just go back and forth, then you'll see that it's starting to let out a little bit. You can slim that out and then beef up the physique, and then it doesn't really show that much, and then it, you know, makes your toon look a little better. And I did choose the colors of my powers already, and then one thing I did is he has a blazing aura that I give him a fire aura when he's running, except blazing for movement only. There we go. Okay. And an aura for fiery aura effect, and fiery fists for combat only. And there, that was it. That was the only things that I had done. Like I said, the only thing that might not be spot on is the shoulders, and I didn't put any of the specifics on his face, like his detail 1 and 2 for the eyes and the little arena headset. So, but other than that, Madfoot Sim Racing, like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. And if you got any other questions about how the characters are put together, we'll address them for you. And we'll see you out in the world fighting crime in City of Heroes.